You know, there's nothing I love more than furniture. Check out what I just picked up for my competition. Paid a whopping $13.69 for both pieces. Now check out my Artisan. Both pieces only $7.99. Their sofa alone costs $699.95. My Artisan. Hand-driven nail-head trim, stylish throw pillows, comfy Bobble-Pedic cushioning, both pieces only $7.99. $13.69 without Bob, $7.99 with Bob.
Shop in-store or at mybobs.com.
7 News at 11 starts now with breaking news.
And we start tonight, first at 11, we are following 4 breaking news stories.
A quiet Virginia neighborhood rocked by a deadly shooting. In Maryland, several people taken to the hospital after an SUV smashed into a bus. At least 4 people killed when a bridge collapsed at a Florida university. And also a shakeup at the White House expected at any time. The president says he is ready to replace his national security advisor.
We start tonight, though, in Miami, where there is still a very active scene right now. 9 hours after that bridge collapse, about an hour ago, authorities confirming 4 people were killed when that 950-ton pedestrian walkway came crashing down.
We have team coverage tonight with a look at the investigation ahead and the questions that are swirling over that bridge's safety. Let's start with Maggie Rulli.
If anybody's done anything wrong, we'll hold them accountable.
Florida's governor promising accountability after this newly constructed pedestrian bridge collapsed without warning Thursday afternoon, killing unsuspecting motorists and pedestrians underneath.
Oh my God! There's 2 cars under there!
First responders, aided by rescue dogs, desperately digging through the rubble for survivors. The injured carried away on stretchers. At least 2 had to be cut from the wreckage.
Someone has to be held accountable for this situation because this is completely and utterly unacceptable.
That bridge erected just last Saturday in a matter of hours. It was still under construction and had not yet opened to pedestrians. Its purpose was to give students at Florida International a safe route to their homes in nearby Sweetwater.
The bridge was about strength and unity, about being good neighbors with the city of Sweetwater. This bridge was about goodness, not sadness. Now we're feeling immense sadness.
In a tweet to the victims, President Trump offers his thoughts and prayers. Both the architect and the Miami construction firm say they're stunned and will fully cooperate with the investigation.
This bridge was built using accelerated bridge construction, or ABC. Sometimes it's referred to as an instant bridge because it can be put up in just a matter of hours. Since 2010, more than 800 have been built this way. Now investigators are going to find out if what happened here was a design flaw or a construction issue. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, Miami, Florida.
And tonight, still plenty of questions about that deadly collapse. And right now, an NTSB GO team is on the way to Miami to help find some answers. Tom Rousey continues our team coverage with a closer look at the task ahead.
You know, and they left here from Reagan National Airport just a few hours ago. As they start their investigation in Miami, they have 2 main priorities. They want to find out the cause of this, and also they want to make recommendations so it doesn't happen again. After dark, an NTSB GO team boarded a plane at Reagan National to head to Miami to investigate the collapse.
There's a lot that we intend to find out.
Just days ago, Florida International University had hailed the bridge as a milestone for what's called accelerated bridge construction.
If we find that there are deficiencies with this type of bridge or the construction of this type of bridge, we do have the capability to issue urgent interim recommendations.
Everybody has their own job to do.
Over the years, Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Chief Scott Goldstein has seen many structure collapses, like this one at Montgomery Mall that killed a construction worker in 2013.
In an event like this, one of our main concerns is ensuring additional collapses do not occur.
Searching for survivors under the collapse is a top priority as well. He says at disasters, many agencies have to work together. Not only do you have to know your role,
it's understanding that roles change. In a unified approach, it's a rescue role until it's a law enforcement role, until it becomes a rescue role again.
And Chief Goldstein says they also have technical teams that are highly trained for structural collapses, and also both Montgomery County and Fairfax County, they have urban search and rescue teams supported by FEMA that go through a whole lot of training for disasters like this and other disasters as well. Reporting live at Reagan National Airport, I'm Tom Rousey, ABC 7 News.
Tom, thanks. And tonight, that collapse leading to questions about the structural integrity of a bridge that was designed to last through a Category 5 hurricane. It was seen as a lifesaver for students and staff at the college, with about 4,000 students expected to use it each day to get to the FIU campus. As you heard Maggie Rulli report, it is called an accelerated bridge made out of self-cleaning concrete to reduce maintenance. It was expected to stay standing for at least 100 years, but didn't make it past 5 days. Count on ABC 7 to stay on top of this investigation every step of the way. You can find the latest updates in this story by downloading our ABC 7 News smartphone app.
We're also following breaking news a little closer to home. A man killed when his SUV crashed into the back of a ride-on bus. Our Stephen Cheetah just got to the scene. So, Stephen, what do we know tonight? What happened here?
Well, we can show you what's going on right now. You can see over my shoulder, major crash investigators still here on the scene. You can see the ride-on bus, and then behind it, the SUV that man was killed in. Now, we have some video from Skytrack 7, which captured the moments right after 8 o'clock after this collision occurred. Now, we have learned that there were about 10 people on the ride-on bus. Of course, the lone driver of that SUV. 5 people transported to the hospital. None of the passengers on the bus seriously injured, but of course the driver of that SUV pronounced dead after arrival at the hospital. Now, in this area, Norbeck Road, Avery Road, it was at the intersection. We do know that the ride-on bus was stopped at the stoplight at the time of the collision, but still the investigation ongoing, and these roads in this very vicinity still closed off. Reporting live, Stephen Cheetah, ABC 7 News.
And in Fairfax County tonight, police investigating a deadly shooting that happened in Great Falls. Those shots ringing out on Colvin Run Road, and that's where we find our Heather Graff joining us live with the details there. Heather.
Michelle, we can tell you one person is in custody and another man lost his life after the shooting that took place just after 7:40 this evening here on Colvin Run Road. You can see that police have a large section of this parking lot taped off, and just beyond this crime scene tape, the focus of the shooting investigation is this commercial building that is home to several businesses. We also want to give you a look at the scene from Skytrack 7 flying overhead when this first happened. Right now, the big message from Fairfax County Police is that there is no ongoing threat to the public. They say the male victim and the man being detained were acquaintances, and there are no outstanding suspects in connection to this shooting. But as we take another look live here at the scene at this hour, now the investigation heading into its 4th hour on Colvin Run River Road. And they expect to be here for several more hours as they work to piece together exactly what led up to this shooting. For now, live tonight in Great Falls, Heather Graff, ABC 7 News.
I'm Lindsay Mastis at the ABC 7 Live Desk. The Washington Post is reporting tonight that President Trump is ready to remove National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster. No word on a replacement at this hour. McMaster and President Trump have differed over foreign policy. This would be the latest in a series of changes involving the Trump administration. Earlier this week, the president fired Rex Tillerson via Twitter and announced that he's moving CIA Director Mike Pompeo to that position. There are rumblings about more changes coming to the cabinet. We'll keep you posted. At the Live Desk, I'm Lindsay Mastis.
And good evening, everyone. Today, the 11th day in a row with the average temperature below normal. Our pattern continues. Good news, wind